Ghost photos have captured the curiosity of humanity for ages, since pretty much the birth of photography itself. And there are many, many really famous and really controversial examples. And today I'm just going to go through a good handful of those. Some of these are unsolved, unexplained, some of these have been debunked, but these are just ghost photos that have captured the attention of countless people for however long it may be. Some of these date back quite a while. And we're going to break them down a bit and have a look. See what we think. A fitting video for the season. So we're starting off strong with this one. This is the Brown Lady of Raynhan Hall. This photo was taken in 1936 and it shows a spectral, human-shaped figure floating in the middle of the staircase. There's a website I'm going to link in the description below which breaks down and tells this story in detail, and it really is quite interesting. The ghost is thought to be that of Lady Dorothy Walpole, who died in the manor in Norfolk under mysterious circumstances, so that kind of adds up with your usual ghost stories. I'm going to butcher these names because that's something I'm really skilled at, but the photo was taken by Captain Provand and Indra Shearer for Country Life magazine. With this being back in 36, obviously this was a old school photo, so all of your possible manipulations in digital photography are out the window immediately. But people have suspected that this could have been a double exposure or just a glare on the lens, a bit of grease on the lens, something along those lines. But there have been a lot of people that have looked into the photo, have broke it down, have researched it, even watched it be developed live. There was a third-party person who was there seeing it, and all of these people say that there is no evidence of any tampering or any faking or any such mistakes. So whether it was a ghost or just a bit of grease, I guess we don't quite know. Second photo is another pretty famous ghost photo that you've probably seen kicking about on the internet, and this is the ghost of Freddie Jackson. This photo was taken in 1919 and pictures an RAF squadron from World War I. On the surface, just looking at the image, it doesn't look like there's anything odd or strange going on, it just looks like a group photo. But if you zoom in, just up here, there is a face behind somebody else, but it's sort of transparent and incomplete. It's like it's not physical, it's strange. The lads there recognised this face as the face of Freddie Jackson. Freddie Jackson was a mechanic who had died in a freak accident involving an aeroplane propeller just 2 days before the photo was taken. With it being a ghost photo, of course there are skeptics. I don't blame them. But the skepticism isn't really the strongest on this one, to be honest. The explanations that they give, the reasons, the debunks that they give is that it's a photographic anomaly, whatever that means, whatever that is, or a case of mistaken identity and they've just thought it was one person's face when really it was somebody else's. But that still doesn't quite explain why they are where they are and looking how they look and were so recognised as being Freddie Jackson. So everything sort of adds up to be pretty ghostly and suspicious, but again, no way of debunking it 100% and no way of confirming it either. Our third photo, the Tulip Staircase Ghost. This photo was taken at the Queen's House in Greenwich, London, and it was shot in 1966. The photo quite clearly shows a pretty creepy looking figure sort of grabbing the handrail on the famous Tulip Staircase. A lot of sources say ghostly, but I don't know if it looks so much ghostly as it does just, I don't know, blurred and creepy. Photographer Reverend Ralph Hardy claims that he didn't notice anything odd or out of place at the time of taking the photo and only noticed once the photo had been developed. Some skeptics claim it could be a trick of the light or dust. I would say it doesn't look like either of those. When people have investigated the photo, there apparently are no signs of tampering or double exposure. And the location is reportedly haunted. Apparently there are a lot of sightings and reports of creepy things like that happening. So it's another one with apparently no explanation, no official 100% debunk, and a lot of creepy stuff surrounding it. Ghost photo number 4, the Amityville Ghost Boy. If I pronounced Amityville right, it feels like a weird word to say. This photo was taken in the Amityville house in 1976 by Ed and Lorraine Warren's team who were investigating the house. And it appears to show a, I'd say, young looking boy peering over the banister and around the door frame. Quite creepily, I may add. The Lutz family, who fled the house in terror, claimed that the house was haunted and apparently had a long string of terrifying experiences. Now, there is a lot of skepticism about this shot online. truthfully, I mean, from where I'm sat, it does kind of just look like a person in the right place at the right time in the photo to make it look creepy. It could have been part of the investigation team, and they might have just not realised, or it could have been completely set up, and there is a lot of claims online that that is the case, that it was completely set up. There is no way of knowing for sure. Some pretty gruesome, horrific things did happen in that house. I believe some murders or something along those lines. You can look that up yourself if you wish. So there is sort of some supporting grimness about the location that would add to its creepiness, but if anything, that's just more reason why if you were to fake it, you'd get away with it, because people are more willing to believe. All in all, I don't know. I'd probably side with fake, but you can make your own decision on that one. Photo 5. The ghost in the back seat. In 1959, Mabel Chinnery took a photo of her husband in a car, and it was only her husband in the car, but clearly the photo, when it came out, there is somebody sat in one of the back seats. Apparently it's claimed that the figure in the backseat had some resemblance to her deceased mother. Skeptics have claimed that although the person was not there and they're clearly there in the image, that it could have just been a reflection. I don't think it looks like a reflection, but it is another creepy one. It's one. I think this is the case with a lot of ghost photos. It's like it looks like a pretty normal image until the people involved in the creating of the image say that they were never there when the image was taken, that this figure only appeared after the fact. And that's when it's like, it's creepy. It is kind of, it's hard to believe because anyone can say anything and just claim it. But I do have a ghost photo of my own, and I'm in exactly that same position where I claim that they weren't there because they weren't there, and they are there in the image. But then you can never expect anyone to believe you because it's just so hard to believe. Another one that's made its rounds all over the internet is the upside down body in the dining room. Now this one is really unsettling. There's two mothers, both with a young child on their lap, sat at the dining table in a dining room, and there is this what looks like just a corpse hanging upside down. Now what this is, I don't know. Online, everyone seems to have their own theory. Nobody knows anything. They only think things. So it's another one that has no conclusion. Some people have suggested a double exposure or something along those lines, but then why would anybody just have an exposure of an upside down, dead looking body? I don't think they. I don't think they would. It's not the average thing you'd photograph, and then it coming out like that as well. It seems, I don't know, it seems odd. I'd argue there's two possibilities from where I'm sat. Either it was faked because of the way the photo's laid out, it's almost like there was room for it to be there, or it's real and still unexplained how on earth that got where it got. Or it's completely fake and edited in afterwards, but like this photo was taken in the 1950s at some point, so the chance of it being faked well from then and still lingering on now without anything being found is pretty slim. Another very well-known ghost photo, the Spectre of Newby Church. This image was captured in 1963 by Reverend K.F. Lord. On the right, there is what seems to be a hooded figure of some description. Some say that it looks monk-like. I don't see that personally myself, but it is there, it is hooded, and it is creepy looking. The figure seems to be abnormally tall and obviously quite transparent and very much so out of place. Now, to me, this looks like a purposeful double exposure of some kind. The way that it is so perfectly there and transparent, it looks like a typical double exposure, but I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of speculation about it, but also absolutely no explanation. There's nothing definitive. Nobody really knows what the explanation for this is. The ghost of Grandpa. The photo was taken by Denise Russell of her grandmother at the nursing home that she was living at. The man in the picture went completely unnoticed until Christmas Day of 2000, which was after the grandmother in the photo had actually passed away. I'm just going to read this straight from the screen for you. It says here, the ghost figure went completely unnoticed until Denise went over to her parents' house on Christmas Day, and her sister handed her the picture and said, "Who do you think this man behind Granny looks like?" And then Denise goes on to say that it took her a few seconds for it to sink in, but when it did, she was speechless as it looked exactly like him being her grandpa, her grandfather. Another one with no explanation that's pretty creepy. The Robert A. Ferguson ghost photo. On November 16th, 1968, author and psychic researcher Robert A. Ferguson was speaking at a spiritualist convention in Los Angeles. During his speech, this Polaroid picture was captured. In the picture there is clearly Robert Ferguson and also a ghost-like figure standing next to him or behind him and looking over him. And this ghostly figure apparently had a striking resemblance to his deceased brother, who passed away in World War II. What makes this photo so interesting is the fact that it was taken on a Polaroid with instant development. Couldn't have been altered, couldn't have really been faked. The only possible explanations for this are it's real or it's some kind of reflection, which I'd say is possible, but given the resemblance to his dead brother also becomes a little bit questionable as well. So the conclusion on this one is completely open. There is no conclusion as of yet, and there is no real explanation. And finally, we've got the Hampton Court ghost. This is a pretty recent one from 2003, certainly a lot more modern compared to most of the rest of them, and this one is actually captured on security footage. I'll play the video now, but as you can see, there's some what I presume are fire doors that swing open with quite some force, and then a figure in period dress reaches out and closes the doors, albeit not in a particularly normal manner. There is a lot of people really question this one and the legitimacy of it, whether it was one of the period actors, whether it was just someone playing a trick and doing this on purpose, or whether it was a ghost or something unexplainable. A lot of people have a lot of different theories. Personally, I think the weird thing is the fact that the doors look like they swing open by themselves and then the figure reaches out to grab them. It doesn't necessarily look like that figure was pushing the doors open and then closing them. So either way, it's a weird one, but I dare say that this was just some sleight of hand with the video and it looks set up, if you ask me. So that's all of the ghost photos that I've got to go through today, just in time for Halloween and the spooky season. But if you enjoyed this, then please do leave a like, and if you've got any ghost photos of your own, drop something in the comment and let me know. If you are interested in this kind of thing and you've stuck around this long, firstly, thank you very much, and secondly, in a couple of days I'm going to be dropping another video looking at a ghost photo of my own. Now this is another one where, I mean, personally I struggle to believe in ghosts, but I have absolutely no explanation for this photo. I'm going to put it on the screen now. There you go, that's all you're getting. If you're curious, then you're just going to have to stay tuned and come back when I drop the next video. So stay tuned for that. It is going to be an interesting one, a little bit of an investigation in it. If you want to see more about photography and all of that world of stuff, then hit subscribe, because I've got loads of content already out and lots more on the way. Sound for watching. I'll see you in the next one.